Kinda wish I wasn't making this video today. Well, it doesn't work. It kinda works. It doesn't really work though. The BRZ is having a lot of issues right now and it's quite annoying. I really wanted to go do a driving video today to show you guys like when it was running. It was actually fun, but this is 2 days after the tune, so sorry, no driving video today until the car is actually working. But the issues that I'm having with the car right now is it doesn't want to start. They told me that there was a hot starting issue with the car when I was at the tuner, and they told me it was a throttle body issue, and the throttle body just had to relearn. It's been 2 days. I've driven the car around a little bit. It's quite annoying to drive right now. It's not the throttle body. I can 100% promise it's not the throttle body. They were telling me the early like 12 to 14 BRZ's throttle body was different than the 15 plus, but it's the exact same part number from 2013 to 2020 on the BRZ. Now I'm giving Intec the benefit of the doubt here. I'm gonna call them tomorrow to see if they can get some of these issues worked out, but that's not the only issue that I'm having. The car doesn't wanna idle, it doesn't wanna start, and those two alone make a very bad and annoying combination to drive, because if I'm driving the BRZ in traffic and the car dies, because it doesn't want to idle, because it always dies when I'm coming off of decel going into neutral. When it does die, I can't start the car again when I'm sitting in traffic, so it's dangerous to drive this thing on the road right now until this gets worked out. Like I can't drive it anywhere. The only time it's running like half decent is when it's like in power, and that's it. But even then the car is running like way too rich, and it smells rich the entire time, and the ideal values just aren't there on the car right now. So, oh, and the car's throwing codes for evap leaks after we deleted the purge valve, and I kind of would have figured, because I told them this when I was at the tune, that hey, I deleted the purge valve, kind of figured they'd make the adjustments necessary for that and permanently remove the codes from the ECU for the purge valve. So it keeps throwing codes, doesn't want to idle, car continuously dies, and it doesn't want to start. These are just some of the issues. Another issue that I'm having that I think is a mechanical issue on my end is that the oil pressure is reading low in the car. So right now, you guys saw we put the AEM oil pressure gauge in the car. I teed it off using a factory, or just like a 1/8 MPTT fitting to put the OEM pressure sensor on there, and the OEM one and the AEM one. But the issue that I'm having is at idle, oil pressure is reading like 2 to 6 PSI, which is like incredibly low. It should be around like the 10 to 15 PSI mark at 600 RPM. I think that the oil pressure sensor just isn't seeing full pressure. So what we're gonna do First and foremost today, we're gonna be dealing with the oil pressure issue, just because I do wanna make sure it's a sensor issue and not a car issue, because if it's a car issue and we do have that low of oil pressure at idle, something is wrong. So first up, we're gonna pull that T-fitting off. We're just gonna toss that old oil pressure sensor fitting in the bin. I unplugged the OEM oil pressure sensor to see if the light would come on the dash. The light doesn't come on, so I'm just gonna leave it unplugged. We'll tape it off to the side. We'll get the AEM oil pressure sensor put directly into the block, so that way we should be getting direct oil pressure. And if we can get the car to idle, we can at least verify to see if it's the sensor location. Something else we're going to be doing is bumping up oil weight or oil grade in the car. Right now the car is 5W30 in it. We're going to be jumping up to 5W40. The 5W40 should have a little bit thicker of a viscosity at higher temps, because since the car is running so much hotter, originally the car takes 0W20. We're gonna bump up to 5W40 and hope that the thicker viscosity helps bump oil pressure just a little bit and has a better heat rating. So this afternoon, we're gonna swing up to the mod garage. We're gonna go pick up some 5W40. We're gonna try putting that in the car, seeing if that resolves our issues with this. But it's just been such a headache and so annoying. Like, I can't drive the car anywhere right now. It's not safe to drive on the road. So your boy's a little upset. So first up, let's deal with the oil pressure sensor. That one shouldn't be too bad to do. Come in here, pop that guy, close that guy. I really wanted to start working on that, but this thing is still taking up priority right now. While I'm in here, I'm also gonna be checking for like massive vacuum leaks if potentially there is something that I missed. This is what we're mainly gonna be focusing on though. We're gonna pull off that old OEM sensor. We're gonna remove the T-fitting. We're just gonna put that AEM fitting directly into the block. I did verify when it is unplugged, the oil pressure light does stay off, and as long as I have the AEM gauge in there, I'm fine running it that way. Also, our oil feed is leaking a tiny bit of oil, so I'm gonna give that a couple more like tighten downs. I'll probably just do one more full rotation on it just to make sure. And then lastly, I am gonna go through here, check like all couplers, T-bolts, make sure everything is super tight, make sure we don't have any vacuum leaks that might be causing us any issues. And then tomorrow when Intec opens back up, I'll give them a call and hopefully they can fix this for us. If not, oh, I'm not even gonna go there. Hopefully they fix it for us. All right, got the old oil pressure sensor pulled out, and I have the AEM one going directly into the engine now. So I can get the car to idle. I just have to hold the throttle for a little while. So I'm gonna just play with this real quick. I'm gonna hold the throttle, get kind of idle going on this. Once I have idle set, we'll check oil pressure, and hopefully our oil pressure doesn't read 2 to 4 PSI anymore. And it actually reads accurate with that sensor directly into the block now. Like, I mean, I could see why it might be reading low off of this T-fitting, because the oil would enter in through here. The AEM gauge was on top, so it might not be seeing full oil pressure. But let's go see what it's reading at this point. I'm gonna show you guys this like awfulness. So I have to hold the clutch in, and I have to give the car gas. You see how like it shouldn't be that much of a struggle to start the car, and then I have to hold throttle for a minute or else the car dies like that. It is 100% something in the tune. It has to be the tune. There's nothing mechanical on my end that would be causing this that would not have before. Because remember, before the tune, the car would idle just fine. As you can see up there, like AFRs are all over the place also, just holding idle steady at 1500. AFR is bouncing between like 14 up to like 16, back down to 14. It's all over the place. All right, it's been like 30 seconds or so. Let's see if the car lives or dies. Okay, that was the car, that's not me. So we'll let it idle for a minute. I'm gonna let it idle down to its idle RPM, which is like 600, which I think is a little bit low. I think bumping it up to like 800 would be good. But we are reading oil pressure, but I wanna see what it is like at full idle. So we'll let it drop down. We'll see what it is. Hopefully it's more than 4 PSI. Oh, geez, that scared me. Hopefully it's more than 4 PSI. Got the car idling now. With the sensor swapped, or with only the AEM sensor in there now, oil pressure seems to be reading better. Now for idle at oil pressure, we're sitting between like 13 and 15 PSI. I'm curious, since it didn't die, let's see if it wants to hot start. Nope. Still an issue. The thing that I don't understand is before we took it to the tune, it idled just fine. It still died when I was driving it, but it idled just fine, and it started just fine, which it has to be something in the tune, because it started just fine prior to the tune. So to be quite honest, I don't know what is causing these issues. It has to be something in the tune. When I call him tomorrow, when I bring the car back out there, I want it to be 100% mechanically sound. So there's a couple smaller things that did come up that I need to get addressed as well. The oil feed line on the turbo is just leaking a little bit of oil, so I'm just gonna pull off the feed line, tighten the fitting down, put the feed line back on, wipe it up. That should clear that up. The oil cooler lines are also a little bit loose, so I'm gonna go ahead and tighten those up as well. And then from there, we should be mechanically good. We're still gonna swap the oil over to 5W40, even though the oil pressure has jumped up just by moving that sensor location. But let's get these couple smaller ones taken care of. Let's swing up to the mod garage, let's grab some oil, see if that helps maybe. I don't even know at this point. Went through, tightened every coupler, every oil feed line. I don't think that's gonna change anything, but let's try it anyways. So this is kind of cool. I'm using the ECU Tech thing right now. My phone's like not wanting to focus on it, but it's kind of like an access port. I can go through here on my phone and read like all the values of everything that you can read on your access port. So I can see like target boost, battery voltage, atmospheric pressure. So I'm just inside the car right now trying to like find some value that looks wrong or looks off. So you guys might see me playing with the car a couple times here and there, trying to start it, trying to get it going again. But let me play with this for like 5-10 minutes, see if I can see anything like out of the ordinary. So far, everything that I've seen looks pretty like normal and okay, but see what I can find. So I didn't see anything weird on the ECU Tech when I was looking at it on my phone. Like I said, it's kind of like an access port. You can go through there, you can see all the values. Target AFR looked good. Target was 14.67 at idle. What we were actually getting was about 14.68 to like 14.75. Not a huge difference in what we're looking at versus what it's actually trying to target. Aside from that, it's like the starting issue and the randomly dying issue when I'm driving it. Like whenever it's under load, like I said, coming off of decel going into neutral, it'll die. I think there's like a weird transitional phase between the port injection and the direct injection where it's not seeing any fuel and it could be dying. I'm not entirely sure, but that's kind of what I'm thinking is going on. Same with startup. Maybe it's just pulling fuel from the wrong injector and it's not giving it enough fuel. That could be it. That sounds like it could be it. Like the transition between the D4S and the port injection of when it swaps over, maybe it's just not smooth enough, so it sees a momentary issue of lean. So like I said, I'm gonna call Intec tomorrow. I still have to swing up to the mod garage this afternoon. I'm still gonna make the transition over to 5W40 oil, so we'll swing up there in like an hour or so. Brian told me to swing up there like 2:30, something like that. I guess he has meetings going all day or something like that. So swing up to the mod garage here shortly, bring the 5W40 back, swap it in, see if that changes oil pressure. Also, oil pressure is looking pretty good now with the like relocated sensor. And a lot of the smaller like oil leaks that we had from like the oil cooler, tightened all those up, so shouldn't have any issues with those. So hopefully we get something figured out. Future is very bright. We're gonna swing up to the mod garage now, go pick up some oil, do some window shopping, see what they're doing. I think Austin's wrapping a car up there today. We're not taking the Burrs, taking Chewy. Good old Chewy. We haven't ridden in Chewy. Well, I haven't ridden in Chewy in like a week. It's been like a week, Matt. Been a week? I haven't been in Chewy in like a week. Just got up here to the mod garage. We have our oil somewhere down there just hanging out. We're gonna be swapping over to the 8100 X Clean, the 5W40. Is it X Clean? It is the X Clean. We're throwing the X Clean in the BRZ just because it's a little bit better for the DIT engines from what I've seen. I mean, the BRZ is like half DIT, half not DIT. But that'll definitely do us some justice in the BRZ, but they got like some cool stuff going on in there. So let's go take a peek. I think Brian's in a meeting though, so we can't really bug Brian too much, but it's whatever. He'll come out eventually, maybe. Go window shop, see if there's anything you want.
I like a good idea.
I do it every time, and I always leave with stuff that I probably shouldn't, but it's all right. So it looks like Ryan's doing some cool stuff on this WRX down here. It looks like killer bee headers, external wastegates, the whole shebang on this thing. Still looks like stock turbo though, but maybe not. No, that's definitely stock turbo. You keep wrapping cars too. You doing all sorts of fun stuff. All the fun goodies. All right, man, have fun wrapping. We're gonna jet out. All right. Enjoy. Do all the fun stuff. If Brian comes back, tell him we said bye. All right, oil has been obtained from the mod garage. Next up, I think we're grabbing food, then going back to the house. We'll get this oil change done. I think I'm gonna pull the downpipe out and wrap that also. Depends on how I feel, if I feel like pulling the downpipe out or not, but we'll see when we get back to the house. So, see you shortly. Back up at the house. A surprise showed up that I really wasn't expecting to show up for quite some time, but super pumped about this because this just made our life like 1,000 times easier. These are STI parts, by the way. We got our engine swap engine mounts. So these are Kein, K-E-I-N engine mounts. They're made in Russia. I totally spaced that I ordered those ones, but I'm super pumped on these. I really want to show you guys these because if you are contemplating this swap, highly suggest getting these mounts. So these are the EG33 engine brackets. I don't have the OEM STI mounts anymore because I gave them to someone who needs them. But these are the Kein mounts. I'm super pumped on these. These are gonna bolt right up to our subframe and they just bolt right up to the OEM bracket. So these are swapped engine mounts, or they're meant for a swap. You do need EG33 engine brackets though to be able to make these work. So when the time comes, we can just bolt up these engine brackets to the engine and we can just bolt the engine straight up to the subframe now. So that makes life a lot easier for us. We don't have to have custom engine mounts mounts made, which means when we get the engine back in, or when we get the engine back from out front, we can go ahead and get the engine mocked up and in the engine bay. I would like to get a clutch ordered somewhat soon, so that way we can just permanently mount the engine up to the transmission, so that way we're not pulling it in and out of the car multiple times. So a clutch might be the next thing that I order for the car after I pay off the engine. I still owe another $1,300 plus shipping on the engine before it comes back up here, which isn't like too bad. I think our total for that engine started out at like $9,300 or something like that. So the part out from the STI paid for a lot of that. So super grateful, and thank you for everyone who did buy some of the parts, if any of you guys are subscribers, because I know some of you guys are. But we're focusing on this turd today. So just got back with the 5W40. I did grab an extra oil filter, but I don't think I'm going to swap it because I'd rather use this Greddy oil filter that's already in there. It's only got like 40 miles on it, so I might as well just use that one anyways. The quality on that one's going to be a little bit better than this Fram Subaru filter. So let me get this guy jacked up. I'm just going to time-lapse swapping this oil in. Once we get this 5W40 oil in, we'll check oil level, and we'll see what oil pressure is sitting at, because I am curious to see if this 5W40 is going to change our oil pressure. Now that we have a more accurate reading and we know we're around 13 to 15 psi, I'm curious if that's going to bump us up 1 or 2 psi. So let's get this guy's oil changed, and we'll swap over. Also, I get to use the new Fumoto oil drain valve. I've never used one before, so a little pumped to do this. This is no longer my car. Jaeger, this is now your car. Isn't it, small dog? So with the correction of the oil pressure sensor location and the 5W40, it seems like oil pressure now at idle. As you can see, we're hanging out at 700 RPM. The the oil pressure at idle stays around 20 to 22 psi. That's something I'm a lot more happy with than seeing the 2 to 6 fluctuation of oil pressure. We're still having the issue with the hot starts and everything like that. I need to shut the car off anyways, check the oil. So if I go to turn it off, go to turn it back on, it's gonna do the same thing. I guarantee it. Oh, wait a minute. That was weird. All right, hold on, let me turn this off again. Air fuel ratio is reading like super lean though, which makes me nervous. Okay, there it goes. Hold on, let's turn this off again. I'm gonna try not giving it any gas and seeing if it starts now. Wouldn't that be crazy if just a different oil fixed all the problems? What the hell? What is going on? Why is it working now? Oh, no, we still have problems. Nope, the problem's still there. Let's go, come on, out of the car, dude. Come on, we're not even going anywhere, man.
You want a treat?
I'm gonna get him out of here. He's gonna come out of this car. Bro, come on.
Come on, let's go.
Let's go.
Come on.
Get out of the car.
Come here.
Come on. Where are you going? You're just gonna lay down on the driver's seat? Don't you do... Small dog, dude, we're not going anywhere, man. All right, you guys, so that's gonna be it for today. Like I said, once the oil drains back into the pan, I'll check the oil, make sure everything's good to go on that one. But mechanically speaking, the car is 100% mechanically sound. It has to be something in the tune at this point. Like I have covered like so much stuff on and off camera trying to like track down this potential issue. The only thing that I could even think of it being is maybe a coil pack, but if it was a coil pack, then it would be misfiring, and it's not. So that leads me to think it's 100% the tune. So I'm gonna call Intec tomorrow. They're a good shop. I have full faith in them that they're going to go ahead and take care of the issue for us. Hopefully they can do it tomorrow. If not, hopefully they can get us in soon, because I can't drive it on the road. I don't feel comfortable driving it on the road, especially with it dying as I'm coming out of decel going to neutral, and the fact that I can't hot start the car when I'm in traffic. So until then, it's back to the old Subarus till the BRZ's fixed. So it's unfortunate, it happens. These things happen with cars. Like I've told you guys before, projects never go according to plan. There's always going to be issues that come up, whether you can plan for them or not. They're always going to happen. So, I mean, if you guys like the video, it's still a fun video. We still did some fun stuff today. Go ahead, hit that like button and turn it blue like the Subaru, because I'm actually, side note, I am still stoked that I got the engine mounts for the Subaru, so it's not all a bad day. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, hit your boy up What are you doing? We're fixing broken BRZs. I haven't even got to like really drive this car yet. So once it is ready, we'll do like a ride along video. But with that though, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, homies.